This is Chirag from Ahmedabad University. This video is meant for project purposes and is not meant to offend anyone in any way. Thank you for watching it, and I hope you get knowledgeable insights from this video. Today, I'll be discussing about a hypothesis which we assume in our daily lives unknowingly. This hypothesis influences our decision making, our judgments about people. It influences our perception about people, about things, about places, about our own self. This hypothesis will help you become aware of your surroundings. It will help you take a much broader concept into being when you look at any situation, any picture, any video. This hypothesis is a major deterrent to critical thinking, and that is why today I'll make you aware about how this hypothesis influences you and what is this hypothesis. Before that, let us know that what is a fallacy. Fallacy is using invalid logic or faulty reasoning to construct arguments. Now, what are arguments? Arguments are statements we use to convince other people or most often ourselves. Arguments are based on three things. First is logic, second, reason, third are premises. Now, a fallacious argument can be very much deceptive because it often appears to be better than it actually is. So, today I will be discussing about one such fallacy. It is called the just world fallacy or the just world hypothesis. In a crux, I would like to give some statements which you must have encountered in your daily life that define this very hypothesis. You get what you deserve. You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. That is karma for you. These are some of the shades of the just world hypothesis. In this video, I would discuss about what is this hypothesis. Second, what are the experiments that were conducted to validate this hypothesis? Third, I would discuss many real life examples that you must have encountered which were a result of this very hypothesis or fallacy. Fourth, I would give you the reasons you believe in this fallacy, the very base from which this fallacy began to start establishing in your mindset as a whole. So what is this just world fallacy we are talking about? According to this fallacy, people get what they deserve. Good people get good things and bad people get bad things. According to this fallacy, the world works on the law of karma. If a person is ignorant, is merciless, is doing bad deeds the whole day, he or she won't be awarded. He or she would be sent to hell. They won't be sent to heaven. They would face suffering their whole lives. Whereas the good people who are doing good deeds the whole day, they are helping other Homo sapiens, or they are performing good tasks like doing charity or something else, they will be sent to heaven. They will be awarded their whole life. But is this true? Have we seen every good people getting rewarded? Have we seen every bad people getting punished? It is actually quite the opposite. Not always, but we have seen bad people getting rewarded immensely with no one they are accountable to, and good people suffering the most. So, in this further on, we will take into consideration many examples of our own which we see in our daily life and an experiment performed by a doctor. So, I would do this hypothesis or fallacy first introduced to the world. This hypothesis was first introduced by Melvin Lerner. In the year 1965, he conducted an experiment. In the experiment, he called upon 72 observers. He divided them into two groups. Both the groups had to witness a person getting electrocuted in two different rooms. The only difference between the two groups was that the first group had an option of curtailing the electric shocks the person getting electrocuted in front of them had. So, Now, afterwards, when Melvin Lerner interviewed both the groups and asked them about the characteristics of the person, the group which could not curtail the electric shocks had a very much negative opinion than the group who could curtail the electric shocks being given to the person. The first group, neither the second group had any idea on what the background of the person was. They did not know the history, the characteristics of the person. It just might have been an innocent person for all they knew. So why did the second group make the person look more derogatory than the first group? It is because it is self-defense mechanism of a person to derogate the person who was getting victimized in front of them so that they can feel less bad about it. Another experiment, Melvin Lerner asked people to name to rate the two person A and B on their characteristics, on what they perceived about the person when they heard of them. The only difference between the two person was that A had won a prize in a lottery. When asked to rate these two poor people, the the response of the population was that A was a better qualified person than B, even though he had won a lottery. It was purely luck and nothing else. It did not show his characteristics as a person. It did not show his background, his history, or any such thing. It was because people tend to perceive things as right things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. Discuss with you about some real life incidents in which we ourselves have judged people on the basis of how they look and how they act, on what they wear, on how they live. So, following are some compilations of pictures followed with an introduction and the fallacy behind those pictures.
The following picture depicts people who have been displaced from their homes, who are suffering because of natural calamities like tsunamis, earthquakes, cyclones, hurricanes, and whatnot. But according to research, when people are shown these pictures, they often do not blame the root cause of these, that is, the natural forces, but they blame the people themselves. They blame the people that why did not why they didn't move to higher grounds when there was an alert for evacuation. Why are they still living in disaster prone areas? Why they don't get a better living? Why are they not helping each other out in this time of distress at a much faster pace? Why? But they don't address the problem of natural forces. You will be able to relate to this example more clearly. These are pictures of people who cannot even afford 2 square meals a day. These are people who live in absolute poverty. They do not have a roof over their heads, nor do they have a proper job to supplement their income. These people live on the brink. These are people who roam around the streets selling cheap wares like balloon or keyrings maybe. Imagine yourself walking down the street and a teenager coming and rushing at you asking to buy their products so that they can buy food for themselves because they did not have anything their whole day. You would not pay attention to them. One thing that will occur in your mind is that they have 2 hands and 2 legs which are functioning properly. They can work hard themselves and earn their income. Why are they begging on the streets? These are the these are the arguments which come to your mind, and it is common for all of us. True, they can work, they can supplement themselves. But have you ever addressed the problem of unemployment? Have you ever addressed the problems of low jobs in urban areas? Have you ever thought of who can give them a proper direction? Another instance in which we can look at just role fallacy is when people are suffering from mental or health issues. It has been observed that even doctors who are working on them criticize the patients behind their back. They say that it is the patient's fault they are suffering from such illness in which they cannot meet their parents, their friends, or family for endless hours. A state in which they cannot move from their bed, in which they can only stare at that ceiling. The doctors, although highly educated in their respective fields, fail to look at the consequences that led to such a state. The most heavily criticized patients in this due to this fallacy are the people suffering from AIDS. The only exception are people suffering from cancer because social media has sympathized with cancer patients so much that it is the only exception in this case.
Discuss with you one more incident that has been happening across the world, not India, across the world, and has been bring and is being brought to light quite constantly nowadays in our news channels and papers. A lonely girl walking down the street in one moonless night with a mini skirt with a green tank top. A car pulls up, she is sexually assaulted, and when brought up in front of court, they say that she was asking for it. Is it really so? A person has to. A person cannot have the liberty of wearing what he or she wants. The person does. The society does not question men on what they want. They can roam around in trousers and whatever clothes they deems fit. Now, because of this, in the nowadays people are getting more aware of this fact. But in the previous days, a girl was often looked as the reason for such incidents. Take for example the movie Pink. Most of us people have watched it. In the movie, the female protagonists are brought in front of court and their morality is being questioned. It is even after the male counterparts agree that they touched the girls inappropriately, they said that it is because of them. They were drinking and so they thought it was they were inviting them for it. And this led to certain biases in which the female protagonist, after being fed up of it, screamed out loud that it was her fault. It was the reasons that we have built up this hypothesis in our minds subconsciously. It is because it helps us rationalize our future. As if we have a future in which we can deduce on what outcomes we will face for our deeds right now, we will more likely to take positive decisions as a result. We can envision a future in which we are stable, in which we are showered with constant rewards and satisfaction and calmness. Keeping this in mind, we take decisions that influence good vibes around us. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a movie or book in which there is a sad ending? In which the villain wins over the hero? No, you won't ever have one. It is because in these books and movies, the good always triumphs over evil. It has been established as a mind concept because of social media that good always wins. And this has just been further it has been further exemplified. It is now I would like to see a world with everyone likes to see a world with two scales. One has a positive deeds on one scale and the other has a negative deeds. It is what everyone likes to believe in. It makes them feel secure. It gives them a false sense of security. And we live in a person where people with white hats bring down people with black hats. I would like my viewers to like and share this video as much as possible. If you liked our videos on fallacies. I would also, it will be our pleasure if you subscribe to our channel as well. Thank you. Think critically, think logically.